Welcome back to the Trucking Journey. I'm Trucker Jim, and this is a special bonus episode that I've been preparing for all week that is ironically called Preparing for Goal Setting. But I had never really decided where I wanted to film this video. But I tell you, out in the rain is not. Let's hop in the Chevy. Much better. So what's up, YouTube? Today is Saturday, December the 8th, 2018. I'm Trucker Jim. I don't know if I'd mentioned that before. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, that's awesome. The one after this could possibly be even better. But we have to prepare before we can do big things. And I've got some material for you guys. Now, some of you, this may be the first time you've ever heard some of these things, and it's going to absolutely seem revolutionary and genius. And it is. But none of this material I'm going over is new. Really, very little of this is actually originated in the mind of Trucker Jim. This is just things that work here on Earth for human beings. I'm not sure about everywhere else, but here it does. But later on this month, before January gets here and the ball drops and it's 2019, another year, Happy New Year celebration, we're all gonna have some goals set, because we're gonna make an impact on our lives and the lives of others in 2019. But we've got to get prepared for that. Now, for some people may have, I don't think there's anyone that has never set any type of goal before. But, you know, what is a goal? And, you know, you've heard me say this before, you're gonna hear it again. I'm not the only one that says it because it's true. A goal that is not written down is not a goal, it's a wish. But with us all knowing that, hopefully we've set some goals in the past. So the first thing to do for preparing to set goals for 2019, let's take a look at 2018 or 17 or 3 months ago. Any kind of recent goals that you've set. I've been reviewing, you know, several ones I've done, and by no means have I achieved everything that I've written down. But on every list that I've come across, there's some things that I have. And this is the key, guys. Rome was not built in a day, and billionaires generally aren't built in a day. It's a process, just like life is a process. But speaking of written goals, and I've got some notes here, so I'm going to be glancing down and referring to that. But for those of you that don't have any written goals to review back on, you're not by yourself. Only 3% of people have written goals. Now, some of the most successful people in history were part of that 3% that had written goals. There's a clue right there. Actually, it was either Hartford or Stanford, Yale, one of those that actually did a study back in the 50s of a graduating class. And then this was an immense study. They asked lots of different questions. One of those questions in particular is who had a written out plan for what they were going to do, you know, after graduating, as far as business or whatever. Well, when they met back up 20 years later, you know, everyone had a different story. But it was very interesting, you know, as far as things you can track, happiness and, you know, fulfillment, all that, it isn't as easily trackable. But net worth is. And the 3% of the graduates that had the written goals had more wealth than the other 97% combined. Success is not an accident. And, you know, those same 3% that had written goals that had achieved a higher level of success, that was not an accident. Success is not an accident. Well, the question I asked, well, what is success? And there's a lot of different definitions. If everybody puts their definition of success down in the comments, or I walk the streets of Greenville, I'll probably get a different answer from every person. But The best one I've heard so far, I'd heard from Earl Nightingale. He had a radio show back in the 60s. But success is a progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. Think about it. Success is a progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. Doesn't say anything there about money. It's all of what your goals are. But also during this time of getting yourself prepared for goal setting, visualization is what you want. And you want to improve your ability to visualize what you want. Here's a big key to it. These digital devices that we all have, starting out anyway, unplug from it for at least 30 minutes before you go to bed. Like, don't even look at it. Think, read, relax, but don't fall asleep on your digital device. And I know that may not be easy because you're in the habit of doing that. But another very important key from Earl Nightingale is man becomes what he thinks about. I'll say that again. Man becomes what he thinks about. So what we have to put a big emphasis on is controlling what our mind is focused on and the thoughts that's going through our mind, because man becomes what he thinks about. Well, what if a man thinks about nothing significant? What's he gonna become? Nothing significant. And when we have, you know, the things from the news, the terrorism going on, the economy, the president, some offended celebrity, or shooting, or whatever's going on right before bed, I tell you, it has an effect. You want to think about better things than that. And this isn't a video that I was like trying to go deeply biblical or spiritual or religious in, but you guys need to know this. Also a part of preparing to set goals and whatever the mission for your life is, it's something that you're going to be passionate about. You're going to need to pray. Okay? Bottom line, not saying it's impossible, it won't work if you don't, but I'm telling you, it's going to work better if you do pray. Now here's the key though. You got to pray the right way. Here's the wrong way to pray, okay? Oh Lord, gimme this, gimme that. Oh Lord, make it easier on me. Don't do any version of that. Like, if I was God, the all-powerful being, I would probably get annoyed by this whining and this unappreciative, selfish, entitled, lazy nature of some people. And, you know, that has free will to do anything. Their mind is amazing and they choose to just waste it on nothing meaningful. Well, they're the ones choosing to do that. You know, not talking bad about them. That's their choice. But then for the others that are willing to put the time, the effort, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the focus into it, well, I don't know, those will probably be my favorites. But instead of praying for it to be easier, pray to be better. Pray for guidance, to recognize opportunities. Pray for the strength to persevere through obstacles that you're most certainly gonna face on the climb to success. Pray for those type of things instead. Guidance, strength, recognizing opportunities. Not gimme. Pray to be a servant to humanity, to make the world better, to give off a good vibe, to not be infectious with your frustration. Pray for things like that. And as far as like comparing yourself to other people, that's pointless. It's not effective. That's not a winning strategy. Don't compare yourself to others. As a YouTuber, I do not compare myself to the Red Viking Trucker or like the Little Guy Show or any of them. And never have I considered them competition, much less any of the truck drivers that's out here on the road that I'm competing for loads with. That's not even the way it is. Compare yourself to the best you that you can be. That's who you want to strive to be, not someone else. The best you, with your mind, your body, your ability, your experiences, your passion. You got to ask yourself while you're preparing for goal setting, how good can I actually be? What is my best? Now, people always say I give 100%, and I always call bullshit on anybody that says that, especially when they say 110 and start like giving these inflated numbers above 100%. But that's not scientifically accurate. That's just talking a bunch of smack. But how close to 100% of your ability for your mind, if you don't have the bad habits that slow you down and frustrate, if you don't focus on stuff that's meaningless, what could happen? But the best way to predict the future is to create it. And the way you do that is with goals. Now, there's different types of goals. First, we're going to talk about time-based goals, which most are, because we're all on our current timeline, right? But there's short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals. Short terms, those are things you can do today. Short-term goal would be anything from like today to, I don't know, maybe as long as a month from now would be a short-term goal. Now, we want to get to the point where we're setting and achieving mid-term goals, which those are ones that's like a month to 6 months, or maybe as long as a year is a mid-term goal. And then, you know, your long-term goals are a year or more. But here's what you want to do. Get absolutely awesome at setting and achieving, checking off your list, short-term goals. And you can totally do this, guys. But, you know, start small. That's the way it works. You start small with like a to-do list. Like, well, like I've got one. As far as for this Saturday, because I'm headed back to work tomorrow. I want to shower, change clothes, bag laundry, film this video I'm filming right now, clean the truck inside, do dishes, get some cash out of the ATM, and wash clothes. That's just a simple to-do list of things I want to make sure that I do today. And well, after I'm done with this video, I'll review and I'll check a few things off. And there's something magical about checking things off, because especially if you do it more than 21 days in a row, it starts becoming a habit of deciding what you're going to do, checking things off. There's a big key in that, guys. And the key is it's training you to increase your standards, which by increasing your standards, you're going to naturally build your confidence, because you've already proven to yourself you can do things. You're beginning to break the habit of breaking promises that you've made to yourself. You start keeping promises to yourself, but it all starts with pen and paper, writing it down. Short-term goals, but remember, there's mid-term goals, there's long-term goals, but we're going to talk more about that in a bit. But I really think, guys, the way to kickstart this with you and your brain is start just making out a to-do list, whether it's for the week, a grocery list, a thing to do on your day off, a cleaning project, or whatever the case may be. Make a list. So all the steps that need to be done are on there, and then as you finish them, check them off, scratch through them, you know, whatever your thing is. But what this is, you start having small victories, okay? And it feels good, and small victories lead to a victorious life. And for those of you that are at the bottom now, that's awesome. Congratulations, you've got a great story in the works, because it is not where you start that matters. It's where you end up. It's where you finish that matters most. And also, the journey between the 2 points. But to get in the right frame of mind to set your goals for next year, I recommend taking at least a week to be in a lot of thought. And I'm going to put a link to the Earl Nightingale video at the end of this. Watch that, guys. I don't know, it's like 20 or 30 minutes, but please, after you listen to it, I want to hear you guys' comments. Now, in goal setting, one thing I have learned to do is expect the unexpected, and also expect some obstacles to pop up, and kind of give some thought of how I'm gonna handle some of these obstacles that definitely will, you know, pop their ugly head up along the way. One of them, as you set your goals, especially if it's a big goal, there's gonna be other people that like tell you can't do it. Some of these people may have the same address as you, and most of the time they don't mean harm. They just have their own situation going on. If you're able to actually set goals together, that's what Napoleon Hill and others call the mastermind alliance. Really special things can happen when people are on the same page and vibrating on the same frequency. But that's not what this video is going to be about, okay? But you do have to deal with other people. Now, I do come from a sales background, and most of it was actually training others type of background, not just, you know, doing the sales myself. But if people aren't being a dick to you, that's better than when people are being mean. And when people are like helpful to you and like encouraging and a pleasure to be around, that's way better than, I don't know, people that you think you might be getting in a fight with and there's arguing. And I'm going to give you guys a little secret on how to just have more of a pleasurable experience with people that you come across. Okay? You guys might want to write this down or watch this again, but you want to have sex with as many people as you can, multiple times a day if possible. And I mean all kinds of people. I'm talking other men, women, old people, young people. Have sex with as many as you can, and I promise you're going to be glad you did. Now, what I mean by sex is smile, eye contact, excitement. I thought the X was better than see the people. But seriously, guys, think about just your personal experience, how smiles are contagious. You know, if you see someone else smiling, it's a whole lot easier for you to smile. Eye contact also, it shows confidence, especially when you're speaking, but the eyes are the window to the soul, and you're just going to read so much more of a person you're talking to, and they're actually going to be doing likewise, because eye contact, you know, it's a two-way street. And then the excitement of just having some enthusiasm to you, instead of being pissed off, frustrated, and negative, it's gonna change people. Remember what Wayne Dyer says: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Well, one of the things we're looking at right now is ourselves, which is naturally gonna make us change for the better in a way that we want. But remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it. But over these next couple of weeks, give a lot of thought of the person you want to be. Get a notebook, get a pen, and just start brainstorming. That's right, brainstorming, meaning just jot down things that pop into your mind. But describe the person you want to be known as, the habits that you have, the characteristics you're known for, the vehicle you drive, the profession that you're in. Think about all of those things: the relationship you want to have with your spouse, the relationship you want to have with your kids, what you want your body to look like, what you want your walk to look like, what you want your bank statements to look like. But remember, A goal that is not written down is not a goal, it's a wish. But we're preparing for goal setting, getting our mind right. But guys, it is time to wrap up this episode. But thanks a lot for making it to the end. I hope some of you got something out of this. Good news is there is going to be a companion video to this video coming over the next couple of weeks. My goal is a day or two after Christmas for it to go up, but it's going to be goal setting 2019, and we're going to go into more details. I'm going to be sharing my goals for the year. I'm very excited, and I'm excited for 2019 for all of you. But right here is the Earl Nightingale video that I mentioned. Make sure you watch that. Watch it now. There's no video, it's just audio. But thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. But until then, be safe out there and keep on trucking.